I promise. Well, I can't promise, but we're going to try to bring that back. 5 o'clock hour. Ari's back in our Findlay Toyota studios. Jeff is in today helping us out here at Silver 7. You come on down, sign up for A-Play. Then you're good to go in the Players Club, and you can take advantage of all the food specials like the 777 shrimp cocktail. Take advantage of drink specials like happy hour going on right now, $2.77 for beers and margaritas and well drinks and shots. Going back to the John Murray conversation real quick before we get into the Big Five, I hadn't seen any of the stuff about DJT, about Trump. I wasn't watching the card because I was on the road, and I didn't realize that is they never got him on the broadcast. He's barely been out, and Dana White loves him. Dana White's spoken at both of both of the most recent Republican national conventions. They didn't get him on.
Dana White's the executive producer of the broadcast.
And there were people who thought it was ESPN blocking.
Oh, look up ESPN. Do like a Twitter search of ESPN and Trump.
No,
and it was ESPN woke, won't even show the president, blah, 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 blah. Dana White is the producer.
Dana he has control of every single element. It's actually one of the rare broadcast deals where the entity, the sports organization, maintains control. That's always the way they wanted it.
Right. And think about it, like I
mentioned,
mentioned
back to the Fox deal and deals before that with smaller outlets.
I just mentioned it with ESPN paid Ariel a lot of money, and he was never on the broadcast.
Yeah.
Because UFC is in complete control of the broadcast.
What a screw up. All right, Big Five time.
Battle-Born Injury Lawyers presents the Big Five at 5. Number 5.
We'll do it live. No, we'll do it live.
We're on video right now up on Twitter, on Facebook, so check us out as we're doing Big Five here at Silver Sevens. You like bears, but you have a healthy respect for them. What did you think of the video that just came out with a bear family? It's been hot everywhere in the West.
Yeah. Apparently
looking for some cold water, and they start jumping in Lake Tahoe. One of the first things I look for, because the bears in the foreground are, it's pretty cute. There's, I think it's a mama bear and like 3 cubs, and they're frolicking in the water. And I was looking around. I'm like, is anyone dumb enough to be close to them? I did notice a lady who was a bit thicker, maybe not fleet of foot, like booking to get out of the water.
Sure. No, I will.
Like running.
You were saying I'm not correcting you. I'm just saying I don't necessarily love bears. I love bears doing human things. I'm going to say bears swimming in a lake with people. It's a bear thing, but because they're doing it around a bunch of people and they're doing it because it's hot out and they're just trying to cool off, I'm going to say this is a human thing.
So it qualifies.
I think it qualifies. I loved it. I watched the video a bunch of times. You said it for the show, but I had already watched it a bunch. I loved this. It's bears that are like, we got to cool off. There's some people in that water. We're going in that water too. And the fact that you mentioned the lady running, there's a bunch of people that are just like, all right, cool, bears are here too. Like, I would be so out of there.
Yeah, there's some boats in the distance that are tied down. Would it have gone next level if one of the bears had jumped into the boat and was like behind the wheel?
I would have had to go like on vacation. I would have just been like so happy. I couldn't even do anything. It would have been so great. This was all wonderful. Good thing the bears were chill. I also think the reason the people weren't that scared is because it was so hot that they're like, those bears ain't doing any attacking. Like, it's too hot for attacking right now. They're just chilling.
Is that right? Do you think people process it that way?
I think so. The bears looked at they're like, we just need to get in some water, like, as soon as possible. Like, I thought one of the bears was about to crack open a seltzer.
Number 4.
All right, we officially have the date now, and it was speculated last week. October 9th is going to be the Fury Wilder rescheduled date. The fight was coming up 2 Saturdays from now. Big loss for Vegas. That's a shame. That would have been a big event in town. July 24th weekend. October 9th weekend is going to be pretty tremendous. Now, the Raiders game won't be going head-to-head with Fury and Wilder, but that whole thing about the city swelling when there's a lot going on around the stadium being full will be interesting. That'll be a good test that weekend.
Yeah, there's a bunch of weekends. I know there's a UFC card that's going to be 2 weeks before that at T-Mobile with a Raiders game.
There's a UFC card that night, I think, on October 9th, too.
but not a pay-per-view.
Yeah, a little overshadowed by Fury Wilder now.
Yeah, but I'm saying there's a UFC pay-per-view on the 25th. The same. It'll be just hours before Raiders Dolphins, which will be hours the night before. But so yeah, there's going to be events like this to watch for a long time. I mean, we didn't even mention the other night that we had the two major events with Garth Brooks and the UFC event that were going on at the same time, while like Bruno Mars was playing next door. This city is insane, and it's only going to be more and more crazy with all these events coming up. And when there's major events the weekend of Raiders games, this town is going to be crazy.
Number 3.
The city is insane. Let's keep with that theme. Violence, allegedly. I mean, we do know this. Dwayne Haskins had a tooth knocked out. The quarterback who went from the football team now to the Steelers on his second chance. Well, he's married to actually a Gondrzak, right? It's Grant Gondrzak's daughter, who played at Michigan State, played basketball. Who was she with before? Oh, you know who she was with? Nick Ward. Remember, he's a kind of a giant, lumpy dude, 6'9" guy, sure. High-level recruit, pretty solid player for Izzo. Well, something happened between them at the Cosmo. She was arrested. Now it's like 12 days ago, and she's facing domestic violence charges. Dwayne Haskins, a quarterback for the Steelers, backup, whatever he is, third, fourth stringer, had his tooth knocked out.
Yeah, and the police got there. They found the tooth. I guess fortunately, I don't know if he was able to, put it back in or how that operated, but it was found. It was located, and he had a busted lip as well. So sounds like some pretty significant damage done by this punch, which we referenced earlier. There is kind of a weird feeling that people have when it's like when the guy is the victim of domestic abuse, but it is a problem, and it's a problem that people don't seem to take seriously enough sometimes. It's a real thing, and I immediately, of course, saw people really making light of it. Not really funny, but hopefully they can both move on from this and learn and be better.
The other big case out there, Richard Sherman, charges have actually been reduced in his dust-up the other day. The state is not asking for because originally it was burglary, domestic violence charge. There's no burglary charge. Downgraded to charge of criminal trespass, misdemeanor. He's got multiple misdemeanors. I guess he's facing criminal trespass, malicious mischief. Say that fast. DUI, potentially, and resisting arrest. The weird thing on the DUI is the initial statements from, I think it was the Washington State Police, said the blood test won't be back for months. They're backlogged. Wow. And the whole system is jammed up.
I never understand how long it takes, but I guess, if you have a lot of samples to process, it's going to take a long time. We started to see a lot more details come out about this yesterday, and it's going to be more and more as weeks and obviously as the tests take a long time, months drag on here. This is probably not going to be resolved very soon, and that's probably not a great thing for Richard Sherman. I mean, obviously his life is more important, and getting things corrected there is more important. But in terms of football, he was kind of waiting and trying to feel out the market and seeing who needed somebody at the last minute where he can go sign. This is not going to be good for him in terms of where does he go football wise. It's probably the last thing on his mind right now. But the season's starting soon.
Number 2.
Oh boy, here come the stories. Here come the stories. The wild and woolly times of the Stanley Cup. Did someone dent the cup?
It was dented pretty significantly.
Really?
The actual cup part on the top is no longer round.
They dented the top?
It was like oblong on the top.
Oh wow.
And so there was quite a wild party with the jet skis, and the Stanley Cup was all over the place at this party, just like the Lombardi Trophy was in Tampa Bay earlier this year. But yeah, I think people assumed when they saw the dent that it was a party error. Somebody got a little too drunk, dropped it either off a jet ski or whatever happened there. And nobody really knew what exactly went down. But it sounds like Pat Maroon, who was on St. Louis on the Blues, won a title, and then now has won back-to-back titles with the Lightning. So 3 straight years he has got to party with it. He is saying that this was more a weather issue than a drunk and partying issue. He said it was raining and wet. He went to lift it, And as he went backwards with it, he slipped. His brother held him up, but the cup went back on its end, fell down, and was damaged. And so he said, hey, people are saying we're disrespecting the cup. That's just BS, because if they had half a brain, you would know that it's wet outside. You think we'd be throwing the cup around? No, we didn't disrespect it. It was a complete and total accident, and we both got hurt. My back's been hurt all day. But yeah, that's what happened. It wasn't anything crazy.
Disrespecting the cup.
Yeah. I mean, it looks bad.
Who's in the crowd that gets upset and posts messages about being upset with the disrespect to the Stanley Cup? Are these the same ones who got mad at the beach ball bouncing around the fortress?
Maybe.
Do they not know some of the other stories about the cup? Do you realize when the cup first comes back, if they ran a black light over it, you know what that cup would look like? Do you realize in the deep depths of Pornhub, the cup is featured?
Wait, what?
I made that up.
Okay.
But I could just imagine there's a year where, let's go.
Like there's rules.
Let's fill the cup. Like, oh, no. No one wanted to see that picture.
There are rules,
Fat
though.
Phil Kessel ate hot dogs out of it. Now, I don't know if he used it to boil the hot dogs.
From what I understand, the cup is not allowed to go to strip clubs.
Is that right?
I mean, it may have been attempted to
really?
To one at one point when the cup was won in Vegas.
In Vegas?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And yet, Stanley Cup actually made an appearance in the Findlay Toyota Studios at one point.
Yeah.
Were you there that day?
The handler.
Yeah, the handler with the gloves and everything.
Oh, yeah.
That's why he wears the gloves, by the way, that blacklight reference. Were you there that day?
I was there around I don't know, I think it was more than once.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was only in studio one time when we came in. We interviewed the handler. He had the white gloves on. And then there was a line outside of the studio to take a picture with the cup. And at the end of the show, I just packed up. And they're like, hey, you're gonna take a picture with the cup? I'm like, I got to go. Now, that's disrespecting the cup, not dropping it. The dropping it is actually it's like a labor of love that you care so much about the cup that you're carrying it you're lugging this thing around. I was like, see ya.
Well, I think you're respecting it in that you didn't win it, so you don't get to take a picture with it.
I'm just not a trophy guy.
That's a good one, though.
It was impressive. It was a large trophy.
It's got to be one of the best in sports just because it's transferred around.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just, you don't just make a new one every year. It's an actual one thing. So that's a cool part of it. And I think the bumps and the bruises that the cup takes are just part of the history.
Number 1.
Well, speaking of bumps and bruises, last night the Bucks took some bumps. No calls were made. Devin Booker got to stay in the game. My God, it's a 2-2 series. What would have happened if the Bucks had gone cold? You don't get the Giannis block. You don't get the Giannis steal / Chris Paul turnover. And Booker hits a bunch of threes, and they're up 3-1 right now. The NBA would be on its ear.
Yeah, I mean...
And I'm glad the officials came out after the game and said, 3:41 left, that hug in the air that Booker put on Drew Holiday, that was a foul. He should have fouled out.
Well, it's not hard to come out when you realize that he did it on purpose. Again, he committed a foul on purpose to send the Bucks to the line. It was his 6th foul, so the referee's like, we're not getting him out of the game on that. Like, what do you mean he did it on purpose? He voluntarily did it. You can put him out of the game on that. So it was a weird scenario, but yeah, in the end, the Bucks get the win. A lot of people expected, and now they go back and it's a best-of-3 series. And I feel like, unless I was trying to formulate this, the Suns will not win Game 6. So Game 5 to me is massive. It's the Suns can win Game 5 at home, and then that means we'll have a 7-game series. Or the Bucks can go on the road and win, and then it's over in 6. The Bucks are going to win Game 6 in Milwaukee.
Confident.
So it's will the Suns win one of the 2 games at home?
A lot of the home predictions, though, have been based on the fact that I think you get some home cooking with the officials. Last night was weird. And I this is what I would like to see the rest of the way. Just the way the fourth quarter went, that's it. That's it.
Nothing's a foul?
It has to be pretty damn bad. And the other thing is, you don't have to try to foul out. Like, the two foul guys basically are Jay Crowder and PJ Tucker. Now, Crowder's more of an offensive contributor. But, like, you don't have to annihilate them as well with fouls to make up for not calling it on the Stars. But yeah, let's